Welcome to the Medovia Menopause Podcast, your trusted source for information about menopause and midlife. Join us each episode as we have great conversations with great people. Tune in and enjoy the show. Welcome back, everyone. Today's conversation sits right at the intersection of something I know many of you are already navigating every single day: your health, your questions, and trying to figure out what information you can actually trust. If we're being honest, we're living in a time where we can Google anything, you can ask AI anything, and yet so many people are still so confused, or overwhelmed, and not fully supported. So when I heard about Natura AI, I was intrigued. I've known one of the co-founders for a very long time, and I knew I had to find out more. Natura AI describes it as the smartest AI in natural health and the only one that actually remembers you. It's not a chat box pulling generic answers, but something that's continually learning your health profile, looking at research, checking interactions, and helping you connect the dots. But of course, with anything in the health space, especially AI, there are a lot of questions. So today, Kim and I are sitting down with the co-founders to really understand what this is, why they built it, how it works, and most importantly, what it actually means for you, especially if you're navigating midlife health, perimenopause, menopause, and everything that comes with it. We're going to talk about the promise, the practicality, and also the boundaries, because this is an area that we need both innovation and discernment. So let's get into it. Nate and Callie, welcome to the show. So excited to have you on.
Thanks for having us, April and Kim.
Yeah, of course. We're excited for this conversation. We love having chats with people that we know, especially when you are on cutting edge of innovation. So I want to start off with your story, because like most founders, you find a gap in your own life and you fill it. So what was happening in your lives when you said to yourself, you know what, this needs to exist?
Yeah, good question. Starting off, I'd say that this wasn't like this started multiple years ago. This wasn't we're going to make a product in 2 years and it's going to do this. I think this just naturally evolved. And so going all the way back when Callie and I started dating, I mean, we weren't crunchy at all. And, we're eating Chick-fil-A and having shakes, going to the movies. And not that we didn't take our health seriously, but I would say not as seriously as we do now. Now, a little bit fast forwarding, after we got married and Callie was pregnant with our oldest, Millie, that's kind of when everything started to change. And so she really wanted to, take care of Millie inside the womb and make the right choices and just be very conscious about what she's putting in her body and also the baby's body. And so there was a lot of lifestyle shifts. And all of a sudden, I'd come home and our cutting boards that are switched out because to avoid microplastics. And there's these circadian light bulbs in our lamps and everything's dim. And, Callie was like, hey, babe, I bought you some natural fiber underwear. You're going to switch out your whole wardrobe. And which is awesome. And I'm like, all right, totally on board. I'm going to dive all in. But there's a lot of information and there's a lot of changes happening. And she's home full time with the kids. And so there's a lot of research that she could do. You could listen to podcasts, watch videos, and understand it. And I felt like I was behind. And that's kind of the origin story of Natura AI. Is it started off as just a personal product. I have a tech background in software engineering. And so I just built something small that to help me understand is all right, she just said, we're switching to taking ashwagandha. What the heck's ashwagandha? And so without having to do, 30 minutes of research, just a quick 5-minute recap of this is what ashwagandha is. And so that was helpful for me and started to grow. And then after conversations, we were like, this could be useful for a whole bunch of other people. And kind of took the leap of let's make this a product that we can share, publish it to, we're actually global now, but I mean, we're in 14 or 15 different countries. But give it to people who are in the same boat. They're trying to make the transition, or trying to understand their health better, understand why things are happening. And so we kind of created this product that helped us, and we want it to help others too.
Love it. So Callie, you went on a health kick when you were pregnant with Millie. What happened? Where'd you get your information? Why natural health? Like what sort of got you there?
Yeah, it was kind of like Nate was saying, just like a slow road of like, oh, I'm gonna change, our toothpaste ran out, so I'm gonna just kind of find like maybe a little bit better one. It wasn't like, I know there's a lot of people that like hear information and then they do a complete lifestyle overhaul. One, we didn't have the budget for that, and two, that felt really overwhelming. So it's just been like really slow. And the more I've learned through like just podcasts and like reading things, I've been like, hey, I think this is going to be better for us down the long haul. And I don't like, we still use Western medicine for sure. Like obviously they're great in diagnostics, anything like viral, bacterial, acute emergencies, right? But natural health is all about like longevity optimization, right? How does our body naturally function and how can we support that? So it's going to have things like chronic disease prevention and lifestyle medicine, reducing toxic burdens, things like that, that help you just live better without having to rely on like, oh, I'm on a statin, I'm on an SSRI. It's like, I'm on magnesium and I use red light therapy, things that are supporting your body rather than like taking full control of it.
Mm-hmm. No, makes sense. I imagine, and this is a story I'm telling myself, so tell me if the story is not true and correct me, but I imagine before your app, as you were researching all of the various products that you were thinking about switching to and what you were putting in your body, did you find that that was frustrating and that it was time consuming? I'm assuming the answer is yes, that you did a lot of Googling and looking online and getting conflicting information. What did that rabbit hole look like for you? And was it a rabbit hole?
It was definitely a rabbit hole, and it's hard because Google feels basically impossible to research anything natural health wise. So I'd be on like social media jumping from like this naturopathic doctor and this lifestyle influencer, and I'm like looking through their highlights, I'm looking through their posts, and I'm like, is this credible research to be searching on Instagram?
Yeah.
And so I'm like going from like Millie would get like a little rash or a sickness. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go to this. I know this nurse on Instagram, and then I'm gonna go to this doctor, and then I'm gonna look here. And it'd be like 45 minutes just to like find like, oh, you should use like a beeswax lotion.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
you don't really have time, 45 minutes for that.
Yeah,
So
that's why I asked the question,
yeah,
right? Especially when you have little ones or your life is busy. We all have a lot going on in our lives. We don't have 45 minutes to research a rash, like,
yeah.
which I think is one of the benefits of your app. I've been using it. Kim's been using it, and it's amazing because it's literally at your fingertips. So I want to kind of move into um, the audience experience, right? When they come to your app and they open it for the first time, tell me what they experience. Tell me what that looks like.
Yeah, I'd say that's like a strong suit and an area that we take pride in is the onboarding and intake process. For Natura AI to work well for you, it needs to know who you are. It needs to know what you're doing, how active you are. Do you have any dietary restrictions? Are you struggling with anything? And so the right after you sign up, you spend a decent amount of time kind of setting up your health profile and answering this intake form of who you are and how can Natura help you. And then through that, in the back end, it creates this digital neural network of you, and then it's just going to constantly expand over time and add to it, and basically develop this digital profile that will be with you for your entire time working with Natura.
Hmm. That's so interesting. So the information that I feed it up front is helpful. So we want to spend a little bit of time entering that information so that the app will feed back information to us that fit our personal profile, right? And you say that it's not a chat bot. what do you mean by that? Because I think there is a misconception with a lot of people. What is a chatbot, right? So
Yeah.
maybe you can identify or explain what a chatbot is first, and then how your app is not a chatbot. Give us that differentiation.
Yeah, that's a good question. Let's just start off. I think probably most people on here know what ChatGPT is. And ChatGPT is an LLM, which stands for large language model. And it's been trained on billions of parameters. And so you have like a smaller model might be trained on 30 billion parameters, which is like a parameter could be like cookie, cake, orange, banana, apple. All those are like different parameters, like things. And so ChatGPT, a chatbot, is Claude has a lot of knowledge, and it's very, very widespread, and it has a little bit of information about a lot. Now, what Natura is a trained LLM that's specifically focused on natural health. So there's no correlation. There's no connection about automotive or construction or things like that. And so it won't hallucinate because its entire data set, and it's continuing to grow, is all about natural health. And a chatbot will essentially, you have your prompt of, tell me about magnesium medicine, and it'll try to go search the web and understand what are trending big topics, what does it find about magnesium. Now, Natura and how it works in the back end, and without trying to get too technical, it's this process called RAG. It's a 6-step ingestion process. And so we have the basically the front half is we have all of these algorithms and AI workers that are searching the internet, searching social media, searching verified sources, and just ingesting data, good and bad. So it has like a correlation of what's right, what's wrong. And then when you're asking about some sort of topical cream or a shampoo that you are curious about, it's mathematically stored, and so it's actually getting viable and validated information about that product without trying to hallucinate and bring in other things that don't even matter. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Totally makes sense.
I am comparing it in my head to going to see a specialist. So
Yes.
if I have a cold, right, I'm going to go see my GP. But if I really have something wrong with my hip, I'm going to go see an orthopedic surgeon, or I'm right.
Exactly.
So it's a specialist in natural health is what you're saying versus a GP that's chat GP.
Yeah. Right? One example I like to give is like, if you ask ChatGPT, hey, can I take ibuprofen? It's like, sure, don't take more than 600 milligrams in a sitting. But if you ask Natura, it's going to be like, I actually recommend this form of magnesium, and maybe take some Epsom salt baths. And wait, why were you getting headaches? Let's get to the reason of why you're getting headaches rather than like, sure, just have some Tylenol.
Right. It's not telling you the information on the back of the bottle.
And then also, Natura understands your health profile. And so with every question, it's scanning and reading. It's called long chain reasoning. It's a pretty big popular algorithm in a lot of these new AI models. And so, something you talked about 3 months ago is also going to be contextualized into your question. And so when it's giving the response, it's not just responding to just that question. It understands your whole history of questions and why you're asking things, and it's inputting that into the answer as well.
I found that. Now, so I went into it and I answered the questions. I'm like, whatever, yeah. And then now it's like, well, remember when you said this happened and that happened and you wanted to know about this shampoo? Well, it interacts. I mean, it was just incredible that it remembered me and remembered my priorities and what was important to me, and knew what I had started taking before to answer the question. Now you already have enough magnesium, as an example, in this supplement that you're taking. So why are you trying to add more? That kind of thing. And I was like, wow, that's so interesting. But let's talk about, how do you validate your sources, right? You have 100,000 plus sources that you reference inside the app. How do you know what's accurate, science-based, evidence-backed, information for me? Because that seems like, although very specific, you're not talking about automotive and, whatever else, but you are talking about a very deep topic. How do you
Yeah.
know that information is correct, and how do you validate it?
Good question. There's a lot of math behind it. Been a lot of research. And so talking about a neural network is, think of a spider web. And so when we started off, we chose kind of like 2 or 3 categories. So it might have been like a little bit of food, so like seed oils, and then red light. And there's just kind of few topics that we started off to deep dive. And that was a very manual process. I mean, to kick this off, there was a lot of what was right, what was wrong, adding documentation, connecting like a PubMD database, or FDA database to give it good information and bad information, so it knows, like, okay, well, if this is good, then, or if this is bad, then this is good. But through that process it's called metadata, but there's so many attributes of like validity score and how much this was talked about on different sources and who's saying it. Do they have credibility? Is this coming from a doctor, or is this coming from an Instagram post? And through that process, this is happening, tens of thousands of times a second. It goes out, researches data and like multiple data points, finds things that are commonly said, uses that as like, okay, this is looking promising, and then it'll like ask itself, and like it's fine tuning over time. But in simplicity, it was a very manual process, lots of conversation, talking to people in the natural world to get this thing started. And back to the spider web analogy, is you started small, but then once it has context to this seems right, this seems wrong, it builds that over time. So the more it grows, the more it can understand, this looks right, this doesn't.
Got it.
So you're putting those boundaries and those guardrails in and telling it initially what sources to look towards, and then it learns and it builds.
Exactly.
It grows the spider web. Yeah, I love that analogy.
And I mean, like a huge factor, especially in the medical world, is safety and, pregnant moms and children's safety. And so there's a big safety evaluation as well during this process to make sure that like we're not prescribing something that we shouldn't be. If it's like a children's dosage of something, it'll flag that. And it also knows, like, it has its boundaries. If you just got like a big cut in your arm, it's not going to say, go put some red light on it. It's going to say, you should probably go see a doctor, go to the emergency room, or call 911.
Yeah.
And so it's not going to overstep where it shouldn't be. And we take pride in the safety of the model.
Yeah. Yeah, of course. Can I ask you what you're seeing from midlife women using the app? Because that's the space that we sit in. Even the perimenopause stage all the way through. Are you seeing specific or common trends on how they're using it?
Yeah. So kind of like what you were saying, Kim, is like you mentioned something months and months ago and it still remembers. And I think like in that time of perimenopause, things are just like crazy. Lots of different things that weren't happening are now happening. Things that were working months ago aren't working now. And what we're hearing is like it's really helpful to have something that actually remembers what wasn't working 6 months ago, because I can't remember it. And honestly, my practitioner doesn't remember either. So it's been really helpful for people to like research what they need to do or what they should stop doing. And it has like their full health profile and the context of what's been happening. I even heard from my mom, she was looking for like a supplement and she's like, it actually remembered that I'm trying to be more anti-inflammatory. So it was like only recommending this specific supplement because it fit her health profile and it was anti-inflammatory. So I think the like contextualization and it remembering you is really helpful for that midlife women. It's for everyone, but specifically when like things are changing as much as they are in that time,
Yeah.
it's really helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Adding
can
on-
totally see that. Nate, you mentioned ashwagandha, and I can imagine myself actually putting in, should I take ashwagandha to help me sleep? If it has my healthcare profile, and it does, it's going to remind me that I have thyroid conditions and that ashwagandha might affect the thyroid, right? So maybe you shouldn't use that. You should use this instead,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
I love that. It's
We've
smart.
also seen, yeah, exactly. What we've also seen with a lot of users is they're using this as a second opinion. So if you're in the doctor's office and you're talking about something, they're talking to their doctor, but then they're also like, see, okay, well, what does this say? And almost like a second pair of eyes on something. And that's been really helpful for a lot of people without having to go do, the 2 hours of research. It can basically summarize a conversation you had with your doctor, and people are enjoying that as well.
Does it understand hormones? And that connection between hormones, hormone therapy, supplements, interactions. I mean,
Absolutely.
yeah.
And especially like hormone therapy, that's also very case by case. So for it to have like your information is really helpful, because it's just like that stuff just is not one size fits all by any means. So even searching on Google makes it really difficult, because for Jane down the street, it's going to look really different for her than it does for me.
Yeah.
And can it help me prepare for a doctor's appointment, right? It knows everything about me now because I've been playing with it. And if I want to go to the doctor, will it help me prepare for that kind of conversation that I have 15 minutes with my doctor?
Absolutely.
Yeah. I've done that for like my kids' appointments. Is like our son has some medical stuff going on, and like before and even during, like the doctor walks out of the room, I'm like, oh my gosh, and it's just really helpful to have that second opinion and to prepare and come in with questions. And I had an appointment for him, and it was like, you're asking the right questions. The model is saying that to me, and it's like, ask these questions for your doctor. I'm like, oh, those are great questions. I wouldn't have thought of that, but I'm curious about them. So it's really helpful for preparation too. And just that second opinion.
Okay, let's look at a practical use case. So someone wakes up at 3 a.m., they're anxious, there's heart racing, and I go to Natura to tell you about it. What's going to happen?
Like, part of me should just feel like I should just ask it right now.
Do it. See what it says. Let's do it.
Let's do this live. Open that Natura.
It's gonna be like, Nate, it's only 8 a.m. It's not 3 a.m.
All right.
Yeah, right.
How should I phrase this question? It's 3 a.m.
Or just say, I woke up last night sweating and feeling really anxious.
I woke up last night sweating and feeling really anxious.
My heart was racing.
My heart is racing.
What do I do?
What do I do?
And his profile is young man. So women don't listen to this recommendation.
All right, it's typing it out here. All right, so like, here's the first paragraph. First, are you okay right now? If your heart is racing and you're feeling intense chest pain, shortness of breath, or like something is seriously wrong, please call 911 or go to the ER immediately. If you're just feeling anxious but physically safe, here's how I can help you. So right there, safety validation. If things are actually wrong, you probably should be talking to a chatbot. But if you need help, here's basically what it gave back. So the first kind of section, and it'll break this down into sections, is calm your nervous system fast. So here are some things you can do: cold water, box breathing, grounding yourself. Lying on your left side can actually reduce heart pounding sensation, and then slow your exhales. So there's immediately, here's some action items right now.
And each one has like detailed descriptions. Just helpful.
Yeah, and so it walks you through how to do some of those. And then a few other things to consider is if you're having night sweats, a racing heart rate, and anxiety. To test this, I told Natura I was 60 plus.
Yeah.
but it says something of like night sweats, racing heart, anxiety at 60 plus can sometimes be
perimenopause related, hormonal shifts, especially estrogen drops, are notorious for waking people up at 3 a.m. with exactly this pattern. This fits your picture closely. And then it's like, it could be your cortisol spiking early in the morning. And then it always, or usually ends with a question like, how are you feeling right now? Is the heart racing still happening or has it settled?
Yeah. Have you tried this? And now do you still need help? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Quick check. Yeah.
And so something I would encourage, especially your audience, our audience, is it'll give you suggestions. And if you can just take like a couple extra seconds to tell it what you're doing of like, okay, I'm going to go try to do cold water and go ground myself. So it knows that you're doing that, and it will build over time, kind of going back to that long chain reasoning. So if you have this 2 months from now, it'll ask, well, did these things that you did last time work? If not, it's going to change the model and change its suggestions to something that does work. So it's not like, treat it as a back and forth conversation, not just ask a question, get answers, don't touch it.
That makes sense. Yeah.
That's really good advice, because sometimes when I'm anxious and stressed, I forget that I'll feel much better if I put my feet up a wall and go for a walk. Right. And then I'm like, oh, duh, I'll just go for a walk and feel better. But in the middle of it, right, I forget how to cope through that. So I love that. I wouldn't think to go to anything on my phone at 3 o'clock in the morning, but it definitely would have helped me.
Yeah. Yeah.
For sure.
I love that too.
Good question. And I love that we could do like a live example.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Mine
And
said something a little bit different, by the way.
Oh, you typed it in, Kim. Okay.
Yeah, I typed it in. It said it could be hormone fluctuation, and could be your medication effects, your nervous system, magnesium depletion in the moment, the box breathing, the cold water, and then given what I know about your health picture, let's look at magnesium, L-theanine, sage, ashwagandha, and do you want me to go deeper in any of this? Because you mentioned that these are important to you. So
yeah.
It didn't tell me to go 911, by the way.
Right.
It's like, you're an old lady and you're
You're fine.
Yeah, you're okay. And so, I mean, literally that right there is something I want to point out, is why we stand out from chatbots. Is a chatbot usually would give you the same answer, whether it's Kim asking or me asking. And because it knows your profile, it will change your response based off of what it knows. And that's why an LLM, a trained LLM, is different than a general chatbot.
Yeah, that's a good example.
Yeah, no, it's good distinction there.
Good example.
You also, and I just want to note this, because we talked about this before we started recording. You typed it in, Kim typed it in. I'm not a typer. I like talk to text. I'm fast, like just blah, 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 right?
Yeah.
Record. You can do that with the app. And now you can scan pictures. You can, or upload pictures. And so recipes and things of that sort, where the app is smart enough to look at the ingredients and say, hey, you might want to substitute this. So it is user friendly. It's not just typing it in for those that are lazy like me. So I thought that I would just note that so everyone knows that you have those options. I want to talk about data and privacy, because that's always a concern for me when I'm using apps or any type of AI platform for healthcare. Privacy is really important to me. So can you talk to us a little bit about that, and what data is shared? Is any shared externally?
Yeah. In general, your data is who you are. And so we take this very seriously. But then even on a next level is your medical data is, I would say, even more private, or it should be more private. And so we take pride in the amount of security, data privacy that has been implemented. In fact, when I was developing the app, there was more time spent on the back end, the data security and privacy, than it was to actually create the app and like your interface. And we use, everything is encrypted. And so if you're asking questions, no one can read it besides the LLM. And we won't take sponsors. So like, first off, we will never, ever sell your data. It'll stay private, stay encrypted for life. No one can ever access it. And then two is we don't take sponsorships. So if you have a big company who wants to promote their product and they wave a big check in front of our face, we're going to say like, no, that's not how we work. It's natural, verified sources, and it's not persuaded in any way. And then, yes, and then no advertising, no sponsors. And then from it's end-to-end encryption, same thing as your iOS messages. If you have an Apple iPhone and you're texting, from the moment that you type your text and send it all the way over to the receiving end, it's encrypted. It's not in plain English. It's all encoded with a very, very high professional grade encryption algorithm.
So the whole world's not going to know April's healthcare profile. And that's what I'm asking. So
well, kind of the whole world does know. I mean, lots of the world, because we talk about it.
Well, they kind of do because of what we're doing, and we're pretty honest out here. But it's okay. Yeah.
So do you see this complementing healthcare or changing it?
I feel like it changes it. And I mean, Western medicine is so powerful. I mean, if you're having a baby or you need spinal surgery, like there's so much innovation there, but the world's changing. AI is changing it, and people want things faster. People want things smarter, better. And the whole point of why we built this is to meet people where they're at in their life rather than them coming to healthcare. And, the average healthcare appointment, you set up in advance, there's a little bit of a wait time, you walk in, and this is in no way supposed to replace a practitioner. It's supposed to be a different avenue to understand your profile without having to go spend $400 on a doctor appointment, without having to wait 2 weeks just to go talk to someone. And so it's almost like a different form of healthcare. This is not a professional medical provider, and so like we won't be able to, at least right now, diagnose. And so it's just it's very informative and educational, and kind of like what I was saying, it's a different avenue for people to go to.
Yeah, because like waking up at 3 a.m., like your heart racing, that's still really important, but you might not go to the doctor for it. But that doesn't mean it doesn't matter or that you don't need advice for it. So this just gives you like another avenue of like, hey, I can actually do something for that, but I don't necessarily have to go to the doctor. It's kind of that in between. So it's really helpful for things like that. And sometimes you're like, I don't have time to go to the doctor. Like, I think I'm fine. But there is things you can be doing.
Yeah.
No, it's a good point. And I think about our healthcare system. This is a whole other conversation that we could have, but it is broken. There are lots of areas that need improvement. And one of those is just the insurance-driven model. And a lot of people are losing their insurance, or they're choosing not to pay for insurance for various reasons. And some, they just can't afford it right now with insurance premiums increasing year over year after year. I do see this as a bridge, I guess, is the way that I will put that. What do you think this looks like? What's your dream? What do you think this looks like 3 to 5 years from now?
Who knows?
I like that answer.
Who knows? Yeah, exactly. You're honest. Yeah.
I mean, just even thinking about, it's 2026, 2021. There's been so much change since 2021. And we have hopes and dreams, and those are right now we're in the hands of a lot of just people, and it would be nice to train the AI smart enough that Natura can be a co-pilot to practitioners in the field and using that for their own research. And so my hope is that the AI model just gets smarter over time. People understand that there's other avenues than your standard insurance to doctor path. And I mean, our mission is to put this in the hands as many people as possible so they can understand their health, that doesn't break the bank, that it's all private, all personal, and at any time, 24/7 in your pocket.
Yeah. I love that. It's convenient.
Yeah.
Yes.
So is there anything that we haven't asked you today that you really, really want people to know about Natura?
Good question. I would, again, just encourage you just to try it out. There's every week we're adding features and enhancing the model and improving it. To your point, you can upload photos. And so if you're curious about something on your arm, or if you're looking at like a recipe, and canola oil is a big no-no in the natural health world. And so it'll suggest other things.
Yeah.
You can integrate Apple Health.
I also think it's really helpful as like a grocery store companion. And even just the other day, I was debating between these two wipes for our kids. And I'm like, oh, I don't know. So I just quickly asked it. And it was like, well, because your son has this medical condition and your daughter has sensitive skin, I definitely go with this one if I was choosing between the two. And it's like, that's really helpful as well. Is like when you're trying to decide between two things at the store or online, to have like someone else looking at it too, and not having to do the 30 minutes of research on each product.
In the middle of Target.
It's like,
With your kids, that might be cranky because it's nap time. I remember that. Yeah.
For sure. So that's another thing. It's just like really practical.
Yeah. I found that.
So
where can people find you?
Yeah, exactly, Kim. How can they find you? How can they download your app? And by the way, audience, you know that we don't have products on here that we don't believe in. So this is not a sales pitch. We truly love
and we're not getting paid.
And we're not getting paid. So this is just, we love this. We love this app. And I think it's going to be very useful for a lot of people. So where can they find you?
Thank you, guys. Right now we're on iOS, so in the Apple App Store, and then we're on the web. So any internet browser, you can use the internet to chat with Natura. And then we are released for the Android Google Play Store for Samsungs and Android phones. We're just waiting the pending review. And once that comes back, hopefully once that comes back, then we'll be able to go on Android phones.
Yeah.
And anything you ask on your iPhone, it like syncs when you're on your laptop.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Yes. I use it mostly on my laptop because I'm on my laptop most of the time. Yeah.
Whatever platform you're on, like, don't think you have to like redo all of your health profile. It syncs to the cloud. So if you're talking on in the morning on your iPhone, and then later in the afternoon you're checking in on your laptop, it's the same profile, same bot.
Yeah, I love that. And it, by the way, it is spelled Natura AI. Natura.
Yes, thank you. And so it means it's Latin for natural, and so I just thought it
for all of you that know Latin.
Yeah,
there you go.
No.
Yeah, I never studied Latin, but I know something new now. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Well, there's one question we ask every guest, and that is, what's the best piece of advice you've ever received? So we're going to ask you that.
Good question. Do you want to go first?
Yeah, I'll say mine. I just think super simple. Anything that's worth doing is worth doing well. And so like
say that.
they just high-fived
each other. So cute. Yeah.
I even think that like when I'm doing the laundry and I'm like throw it in the dresser, like, no, I'm gonna fold this. And like we're followers of Jesus and we're doing everything for his glory. So it's like, okay, I need to do everything to the best of my ability. And sometimes I don't want to.
As if you were serving the Lord. I know that. Yeah, I know that scripture. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so do it well.
Okay. Colossians 3:17. I mean, you just stole mine, Cal, but things are worth doing well. I'm going to say the same thing. I know I don't have this big different thing, but whether you're sweeping the floor and cleaning up after something, or you're working on some project, is like, do it, like, go be the best you can possibly be at that. Yeah. And it'll stack over time. And so we took that mentality when we built this app. It's the back end, it's the front end, it's the people that we're working with. Is like, just be the best you can possibly be.
Love it. Good reminder.
I love it too. Well, it has been a fantastic conversation. We can't wait to dig in more to the app. And we're going into Memorial Day weekend as we're recording this podcast. So everybody
finally get a break.
Wonderful Memorial Day weekend. And until we meet again, go find joy in the journey, everybody. Take good care. Thank you for listening to the Medovia Menopause Podcast. If you enjoyed today's show, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe for future episodes, leave a review, and share this episode with a friend. Medovia is out to change the narrative. Learn more at medovia.com. That's MIDOVIA.com.